Hey folks, Seth here. It's that time of year again. Guns Etc. huge anniversary event. This year it's on Saturday, October 24th only. There'll be tons of giveaways and one-day only discounts in the store. Over the years, this event has turned into a gathering of folks who love America and the right to bear arms. As you know, our world may dramatically change on November 3rd. Can you imagine what a Biden-Harris administration will do to the Second Amendment then? If you're concerned about that, make sure you visit Guns Etc. on Saturday, October 24th. For more information, go to gunsetcetera.com. And if you like these monologues, please subscribe to 960 The Patriots YouTube channel. Monday, October 26, 2020. Note the energy and the large crowds for Donald Trump. And consider, this is all at a time when there is a supposedly suppressed or hidden vote for Donald Trump. Robert Callahy of the Trafalgar Group says, quote, "What we've noticed is that the polls showing Biden ahead are predominantly missing the hidden Trump vote. There's a clear feeling among conservatives and people that are for the president that they're not interested in sharing their opinions readily. These people are more hesitant to participate in polls, so if you're not compensating for this, you're not going to get honest answers," close quote. We add that consideration to what I said a fortnight ago. According to a Cato study, 77% of conservatives are afraid to discuss their political positions and preferences. That's more than 25% greater than the percentage for liberals. Scott Rasmussen released a study last month revealing 17% of likely voters who strongly approve of Trump are less likely to let others know how they're intending to vote in the upcoming election. Yet in another survey, Cloud Research, a marketing firm, found that 11.7% of Republicans and 10.5% of independents said they wouldn't share their true opinion. If you're an independent, why would you conceal your opinion? It's likely because you support or lean toward Donald Trump. Now that's five pretty respectable organizations. Trafalgar, Zogby, Rasmussen, Cato, and Cloud Research. Now, I ask you to consult your own experience. You ever been polled or taken a pollster's call? I haven't. Larger message. Don't let the polls get you down. I don't think they are representative. But again, don't give up either. Operational pessimism and theoretical optimism is the mode of behavior and thought I recommend right now. Where, however, is the support showing up? After all, the absence of evidence is not evidence in and of itself. So how is it the evidence of absence? There are a lot of indicators. Byron York this morning writes about one. It was a car rally with thousands of Trump supporters jumping into their cars and picking up trucks to drive through parts of Pennsylvania. Jumping in their cars and pickup trucks to drive through parts of Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia. Organizers estimated the rally included about 2,000 vehicles, each with 2, 3, or more people inside. Gatherings like this have been going on for months in some of the places President Trump needs to win most if he's to be reelected. And here is a striking part. The rallies are not the work of the Trump campaign. Saturday's road rally was organized and staged by local Trump supporters, linked together largely by Facebook. Supporters who want to show that enthusiasm for the president in western Pennsylvania and surrounding areas is not just strong, but stronger than it was when Trump eked out a victory in Pennsylvania in 2016. If Trump wins this state, it will owe in significant part to this organic movement and the energetic organizers who have nothing to do with his campaign. Now, if I may, to 60 Minutes last night. If you think about it as I was, when's the last time 60 Minutes was on the nation's mind or lips, as it has been for the past several days? I don't think since 2004, when Dan Rather lost his job for inventing a story about George W. Bush and the National Guard Service. My point? Until Donald Trump got involved with 60 Minutes, it was essentially a forgotten or relatively ignored show. In other words, what I'm trying to say is that if you want something to be important these days, it seems the catalyst is Donald Trump. Joe Biden in 60 Minutes or Joe Biden in anything doesn't change or start much conversation. In politics, it just seems to me you want to be the engine starter, the fuel, the accelerator. You don't want to be the braking system or the snooze button. But let me take something else from 60 Minutes that I do think requires a bit of conversation, as I think it explains so much of our culture and hence so much of our politics. I don't think you've heard this take before. I haven't. which either means it's very insightful or really wrong. Kamala Harris was interviewed by Norah O'Donnell, and when Harris said she would always share her own perspective with Biden, O'Donnell asked, "And is that a socialist or progressive perspective?" After a small moment of pause and a seemingly confused but possibly contemplative look, Harris cracked up laughing and then said, quote, No, it's the perspective of a woman who grew up a black child in America, who is also a prosecutor, who also has a mother who arrived here at the age of 19 from India, who also, likes hip-hop. Like, what do you want to know? Close quote. This, it seems to me, was a lot to take in, while at the same time was a cipher of a substantive answer. It had me turning to an old 1960s and 1970s phrase of the cultural left. The personal is political. That phrase, originating in an essay from a left-wing journalist, was more specifically born of this sentence. Quote, "One of the first things we discover in these group therapy sessions is that personal problems are political problems. There are no personal solutions at this time. There is only collective action for a collective solution," close quote. And so we have seen the increasing personalization of politics for a long time. To the less sophisticated, you see it manifest in the need for safe spaces when outcomes do not comport with desires or wishes, as so many college students showed us in 2016. When people scream and cry over a lost election or the appointment of an originalist justice to the Supreme Court. In other places, you see it as an Oprahification of politics, where objectivity is irrelevant, but personal feelings and biography triumph over everything else. Sort of. Let me come back to sort of in a moment. First, let's break down Ms. Harris's answer. What does growing up a black child in America tell anyone about their philosophy or political outlook? Candace Owens can say that, just as Kamala Harris can. Black child grew up in America. Condi Rice can say it, as well as Oprah Winfrey can. Does it now tell you or serve as predictive of their supposed political and philosophical outlook? No, obviously not. But the idea that it's supposed to is the media's and culture's lock grip on our general conscience. What about the fact that this person was also a prosecutor? Okay, that can give you Ed Meese and Trey Gowdy as much as it can give you Amy Klobuchar or Janet Napolitano. It can give you Jeanine Pirro, and it can give you Geraldine Ferraro. Someone who has a mother from India, you may ask? Okay, you just gave me Nikki Haley. And she likes hip-hop. Great. I guess that means in a political discussion she'll be taking her cues from the presidential endorsements of 50 Cent or perhaps Kanye West. You see the absurdity of it now, don't you? In fact, her answer tells us nothing except to serve to secret what she may actually believe. What's important to her is her experience. Fine, of course, everyone's biography is important to themselves, but you see my cultural point, I hope. You are supposed to, a priori, supposed to understand and know someone's politics because of race, ethnicity, profession, and now even musical taste. Striking off all the high culture's boxes of experience and reaffirming a personal is a political set of signals. The message works for people who are not very deep thinkers, of course, because the message of America is wholly different than how Kamala Harris put it and Norah O'Donnell accepted it. You can be everything she said and come out a conservative. You can, but you're not supposed to. I guess that's the message. So the next time you hear her or Joe Biden or any liberal or leftist give a speech about how great this country is, and you can do or be anything you want, just remember, they don't mean it. Now, why did I throw Oprah into this? And why did I say personal feelings and biography trump everything else, sort of? Because there's an entirely different and I think more accurate way to look at the success of Kamala Harris, as there is Oprah Winfrey, who keeps speaking not of objective truth, but her truth, and it is this. The country they describe right now is not the country that actually exists. It exists only in their mind as their truth, but not the truth, which leads to a great many reconcretizations of myth here. The racist country that makes it so hard for women and minorities of color exists mostly in the abstract or theoretical, but not the actual, not when it's described by Kamala Harris and Oprah Winfrey. Else how to explain their amazing success here? Let me put it this way. There is a three-word phrase that nearly alone explains the success and prominence of Kamala Harris and Oprah Winfrey. It is this: only in America. Their rises and successes could happen in almost no other country. This would, of course, explain why Harris's parents left India and Jamaica for America. They knew what their child evidently does not, or does not want to promote. And we all know a few things too, don't we? Think of it this way. Kamala Harris's preteen years were spent in a state where and when Ronald Reagan was governor. Her teen, college, and law school years were spent in a country where and when Ronald Reagan was president. How'd she do? Well, as Ronald Reagan might just say, not bad. Not bad at all. It's a beautiful thing, the most beautiful thing in nearly all human history. As we've said before, in the long story of human history, you can see a history of misery, war, famine, and slaughter. And when you look to America, you see something different, an achievement that stands tall, that towers above every other experience in world history. Now, what's especially important, at least to me right now, you often hear liberals and leftists oppose and criticize women and persons of color who are conservative and opposed to such things as racial and gender preferences in affirmative action, saying things like, well, as a beneficiary of those programs, that person now wants to shut the door on everyone else behind them. I feel that way about this country when I hear the political nostrums of the likes of Kamala Harris. Having succeeded in America based on the best things of America, she now wants to shut the door on everyone behind her. It's America's best history, entrepreneurial spirit, freedom and greatness we want to keep, not denigrate or destroy. Kamala Harris last night said, quote, "I'm not going to be confined to Donald Trump's definition of who I or anybody else is," close quote. Fair enough, but neither are we going to be confined to her definition of who we or anybody else should be either. I'm Seth Leibson. We'll be right back.